Hello, everyone. Sorry I got started there a few minutes late. Still getting kiddos to bed, but give me a second here to get situated, let people join. This is really just going to be going over what is currently happening with Stella, which is the name of the winter storm rolling through, just to get into a little bit of the dynamics involved with it, which will be pretty interesting to watch. So, see you guys here in a second. Let people load in. We'll be good to go. Also, let me know if you guys can hear me. I was having some mic issues earlier. Give me just 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started. And for those of you new, if you have any questions, I have it open in the chat right now with YouTube. You can ask there, or you can ask on the Facebook page. Either or works, but I'm going to make this pretty brief because this is a fast-moving system. So what we see here, this is some local radar. We'll get on over the Northern Virginia area, and you can see where, as it makes its way, probably just right at that Culpeper line is where precipitation starts to turn to snow, and it's making its way further south as the temperatures crash. So that's something to take a look at there. Quick note too, a lot of the models had DC at 37 degrees at 8:30 p.m. It's currently 5 degrees cooler than that, actually. I'm sorry. Yeah, 4 degrees cooler than that. So that's a good sign that temperatures are colder than modeled, which typically says, hey, we're going to have more snow than we will sleet, versus what the models were depicting. And we're going to get into that here for a second. So this is the HRRR, which is basically a high resolution radar simulation model. This is good within, I would say 18 hours of an event. It's good to look out and see how it develops. And this goes out through noon tomorrow, right? So, roughly 16 hours. And you can see that this model shows that there is going to be some mixing. And let me zoom in here so you guys can see. But you can see for the majority of the event, this is going to be a snow event. The pink that you see there is identified as a sleet-snow mix. And before that, sleet line was like really pushing up here into the near Frederick area and western Loudon. But you can see that it gives us a good period of snow, I think, through what time here? probably starting about 9 p.m. tonight, 9:30 p.m. tonight, and then making its way through the early morning hours. And you can see where DC is really going to ride that precipitation of like sleet and some freezing rain during those hours. But the trend has been colder each run with this HRRR. So with that said, I think maybe the models leading up to this might have been a little too over aggressive with the warm nose that you hear talk about. That's basically a formation of an air layer that's within a front that comes through that doesn't allow falling precipitation to form directly into snow, and instead it would turn to sleet. A lot of the models are really pushing that idea today, and I wasn't really sure of its accuracy, but the Euro showed it, the GFS definitely showed it, a few others. So and there is there's definitely some weight behind it. That's why I included that in my forecast. But as you can see here, in versus other trends I'll show you here in a second, go here to this. So this was earlier where they said that initial mixing line was going to be right about here, like it was going to hold steady there. But the most recent HRR, as you can see here, that plunged down. See the previous image a little higher. Oh, I don't have my cursor on. Hold on. There we go. So here is that precip line right here where it's a mix. And then the later model, it shifted that south pretty significantly. I think that's important because with if this were the setup, then I think that's where you get your like 4+ inches of sleet for DC and along 95. But because we're talking about a little bit further south of a plunge, there's going to be more snow up front with that initial thump. I think that's going to bring snow totals up for the entire area. So I kind of included that in my last snow map, not knowing that it was going to do this, but I was leaning more on the side of more snow than sleet, where a lot of other people that put out a forecast really were riding that sleet discussion, where it would bring totals in Loudon down to 4 to 6 inches, and I just don't agree. And the HRRR and its most recent run, we can even click out. No, we're going to go here to this one. The HRRR agrees. If you see, this is Loudon, and very rarely does it flirt with non-snow precip. I think for the majority of it. Oh, this won't load. There we go. So here's Loudon, and you can see it flirts with it. But for the most part, near Dulles, it flirts with the sleet here or there, but it is mostly snow the entire event. And that's what I think is going to end up verifying. So the warm nose talk, it's mostly DC, not really to the northwest. That's good news for snow lovers. This here is an illustration of where is this moisture coming from this from this model, and it's amazing. It's pulling it all the way down from south of the equator, a conveyor belt of moisture that comes across Mexico into the Gulf, which then you can see here where it's a little, let me zoom in there, it's a little darker green in there. That's where that moisture comes off. And you can continue to see this conveyor belt where it's dipping all the way up into Ireland. They're going to get some of the same moisture from the same system all the way from the west coast of South America. That's pretty cool. This is current radar. I think I had frozen it there for a second. This is in Southwest Virginia. And this is just to kind of show you. Wait, let me make sure. What right region here? Yeah. Go back to DC and show this real quick. So this just shows that the radar is beginning to fill in. So starting around that 9 9 o'clock period I was saying. And this is current radar right now. So you can see that we got some earlier bands, and it's really starting to fill in right now. So the precipitation's there. This is another map to show you a cool water vapor loop. It shows all that moisture coming off the Gulf. Here's your low pressure center right down here, and it's going to dip down through this area and make its way up the coast like this. And you can just see just a conveyor belt of moisture coming up, and that trough is really digging right there. You can see it shooting like a fire hose across Tennessee, and that will affect totals across Nova as well. So the moisture is definitely there. We talked about these two frames. This is the moisture going back to that, and the HRRR really upped the totals in terms of QPF, the amount of precipitation. You can see here roughly 1.3 for Leesburg, eastern Loudoun. You can see in areas like down near Warrenton where it's about 1 inch. 1.4 near DC, and some areas up in here in southern Pennsylvania, eastern Pennsylvania, 2.4. That might be a little overdone, but this is pointing to a system, that has quite a bit of moisture. I am keeping my eye out over here where it's 0.6, a little less than what was being shown earlier. That might cut down totals in far, far western Nova, up near Harper's Ferry in those areas. So I'll keep my eye on that, but I still think that in that 6 to 10 band where I had you guys is definitely attainable. And last but not least, this is the last Euro run that went, and I want to show you this because I really believe it's a good indication of what we're going to be looking at. I saw a lot of forecasts out there that had Leesburg area and just that 6 to 12 inch band. First off, to me, 6 to 10 is not really a forecast. That's saying a kind of a mediocre, upper mediocre event to a foot of snow. That's a pretty wide range. So to me, somewhere from 6 to 10 is a better forecast. I like to be 3-inch increments, but in this case, I think 6 to 10 is likely in these areas. But I do think 10 to 12 is very attainable, and you can see here where the Euro believes that as well. Now, this does include some sleet, but if we go back to the HRRR, which I was showing you earlier, there's really not going to be, gosh, I don't know why it does that. There's really not going to be a lot of sleet. This is mostly going to be a snow event for Loudoun and Northern Virginia area. 6 to 10, easily attainable here along Dulles Airport, and totals begin to dip more as you go in towards DC. So that's why I think the Euro is showing its, again, ability to really break down these complex systems, not waffle too much with totals. It did have a little bit of a swing there a couple days ago, but it held pretty true, and this is pretty reflective of my snow map that I made earlier this evening. So that's really it as far as what I wanted to show you guys. I know there's some questions, so I'll take a look at it. Let me take a look here. Yeah, central Pennsylvania should have schools closed. I mean, you're looking at 20 plus inches. So, some pretty cool temperatures to follow as well. Talking about South New Jersey, and that's a really tough forecast for Southern New Jersey. I think I was looking on Twitter here, and there was somewhere in here that showed, oh goodness, I can't find it right now, of course. Anyway, but there was somewhere in here that showed that there was going to be a good amount of moisture in that area, but there's going to be a lot of mixing as well. So look, even though they're telling you 5 to 8, it could be a possible boom scenario. I mean, look at this right here, and you can't really go up to that area, but this is a juiced storm. There's a lot of moisture. 1.5, and Cape May is 2.7. That's going to be mainly mix, not really, but look, 1.5, 1.9 near Central Jersey. So you have the potential to really boom in that forecast. So Lawrence, you're talking about Lower Hudson Valley, upstate New York, that region. The reason it's so broad is because the numbers that have been coming off the European model and the GFS have been astronomical. And then the para-GFS and some of the lesser models, not so much. So that's why you're getting your range. Once you get into the territory of 20-plus inch storms, it's very tough to pinpoint like 33 inches for somewhere and 22 for another. It's very hard to do. So that's why they're so broad. And it also comes down to the type of precipitation. If you get some sleet that mixes in, because with these powerful storms, you often get a little bit of a warm signature that brings some sleet, that can cut down on totals. So, and we were already talking about South New Jersey. Don't be surprised if it booms past 5 to 8. I would say, in that 10-inch range is probably a more accurate forecast. Northern Nassau County, Long Island. You're really pushing me there. That's tough because it's on the coast, a little further off the water. But those areas are going to see some mixing, but 12 to 18 is definitely a great range. Hector, you're asking about that, so let me check the Facebook page real quick, see if there's anything worth talking about. If anybody has any questions. I just left my hoodie on, or my beanie on. I do look cold. Do I think Fairfax will be closed 2 days? It all depends on... I mean, honestly, I do. I do think it'll be closed 2 days. But again, go back over here to the HRRR and we look at the Northern Virginia area. If we get this snow to sleet to snow transition, it's going to be tough on roads. That sleet, it'll drop down to the bottom of that snowpack and freeze overnight Tuesday night, and roads are going to be just gross in certain areas. So definitely think it's a possibility for 2 days for the schools, and that goes across the region too, not just Fairfax. So and now you're asking about Baltimore, Daryl. I know we were talking about it yesterday, and it's just so tough. So tough. And honestly, I haven't really looked too much at Baltimore. And you can see here's Baltimore. And you're going to get some of that mix. But you're going to have more snow than sleet, according to this. We'll see. We'll see if that holds true. Let's see if the newest one's out. No, it's not. But again, there is going to be a period of mix for everyone, except maybe Western Loudoun. But there is going to be a period of mix for everyone. I-95, you'll have it longer than those west of I-95. Lawrence, I don't know if it's actually moving quicker. I just think the precipitation field has grown considerably, considering there's a low over here off to to the west of the system that's helping that shield grow, and that's why you're seeing that expansion so quickly. That's why you're getting snow starting earlier. So it's not really moving faster, just a bigger field of snow, if you will. So let's see if there's anybody else that's got any questions. I'll refresh. Oh, 5 more comments. Manassas. Manassas, you're going to see same thing Fairfax is going to see, you know. Down here, you're going to see snow to mix to snow. So I still think you're in that 6 to 10 band. Make sure. Yeah. 6 to 10 band, right on the border of 3 to 6. So 6 inches is probably your best bet for that, for Manassas. 6 to 8, something like that. And OPM closure tomorrow. I would believe so. I hope people brought their laptops home. But I would definitely think that tomorrow closes based on what we're observing right now. DC's already seeing snow in freezing rain, not freezing rain, but some pingers, some sleet. So I don't think the warmth that people thought was going to happen is going to be as pronounced. Oh, Hector, I don't have that map in the New York area. Tell you what, message me offline on my weather page, and I'll try to find that for you. And if anybody doesn't have that link, because I don't know where everyone comes from for these live casts, I'll put the link in below right now. And just shoot me a message, and I'll try to find that map for you. But again, thanks, guys. I appreciate your time. Hey, enjoy this. You know, it's our really only event I think we'll have. Who knows what the next week or so will bring, but I think we're going to actually warm up a little bit after the weekend. But, you know, this is the single event for the winter 2016-17. So wherever the totals may be, it was still fun tracking it. And if you guys have any other questions or anything you notice, feel free to shoot me a question on the page, and I'll talk to you then. Thanks, guys. Have a good one, and enjoy the snow. Thanks.